everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bolt Standard Podcast. We want to start off with, not apologizing, but letting you guys, making sure that we're letting our fans know that, we do kind of apologize for not having that episode last week, not having a post game recap last week. We had some different things going on. The birth of my second child. Me and my wife, we welcomed in our second daughter into the world last Tuesday. So. A lot of things going on. I was in the hospital, making sure things were all good on that end. So we didn't get out until Friday. So there was a lot going on. But we missed you guys. We wanted to get out here and make sure that we got something going this week. Still hectic week going on for us over here, but not missing 2 weeks in a row. Not missing 2 weeks in a row. So we're here, man. Dylan, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Man, it's Supercharger week, so I'm excited. We're breaking out the throwback navies. You see, I got the navy throwback look on for the pod
Hmm.
today. Had to bring it out. So, man, I'm really excited to see that. And after last week's game, short week gives us a chance to, flush that quickly and turn it around. But wanted to say congratulations to you, man. Happy to see you guys. Everybody doing good. Baby back home and healthy. So, congratulations on that.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, man. It's crazy, man. Two little ones running around the house, man. But just like the first one, you figure it out. You
Yep.
figure it out. So
Yep.
we're gonna be good, man. But yeah, man, let's kind of jump into it, man. I'm kind of antsy. Like I said, we didn't get to do this last week, so a lot of stuff going on my mind, and I'm sure likewise for you, man. But let's get it started, man. Game preview, man. So tomorrow we have Thursday night football. We got the primetime slate playing at 7:15. Um, Obviously versus Minnesota at home. What are you looking forward to this game? Like I said, we didn't do a post game recap, so there's a lot that went on last week. You can touch on a little bit of stuff last week if you need to, but what are you looking for this game? Any type of matchups or just overall looking for our team to do? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so before I get to that key matchup, usually I talk about what I'm excited to see, right? I'm looking glass half full type of mentality. I got to be a little critical this week because over the last month, really the last four games, I haven't loved what I've seen from the defense. It's been really kind of bad efforts. We're making bad QBs look good, or
Mhm.
Jaden Daniels looked great. We had last week Daniel Jones looking like Peyton Manning in a Colts uniform. Even Tua, we allowed to come back for score two touchdowns in the fourth quarter to almost, upset us. Luckily, Herbert won that game, So if you look at the four game and Jackson Dart's first start, we didn't make him look like a rookie in his first ever start. So the last four games haven't loved what I'm seeing from the defense. And
Yep.
that's just focusing on the quarterbacks. You look at everything else, we haven't stopped the run. When we do finally put them in a third and passing situation, we can't generate any pressure. And we're not getting any turnovers. We lost a turnover battle or been even, I think, in all of the last four games, losing it three out of those four.
Yep.
So the only game we won was the Miami one, and we almost ended up blowing that game with the turnover win. So
Yep.
those three things cannot keep continuing to happen. So I'm looking at the defense. I need to see them play with some passion and some effort tomorrow night. It's short week, like I mentioned before, so it gives you the chance to flush that last game because you got no choice. You got to turn around and look forward. We got beat down last week. They scored right down the field three straight times to start the game, and all of a sudden, before you blink, it's 20-3. And we never really got in the game from there. We tried and we almost made it something, but same thing, second half, when we score and we go score for score with them, that's not going to work because we score and they go right down and score. We score again, they go right back down and score. So
Hmm.
can't do anything with that if we're not getting the necessary stops to give the offense a better position, especially when we were limited with our line like we were and no run game. And you just put Herbert in harm's way when you just have to drop back 57 times, or 55 times, I believe it was. So. I'm looking for that defense to step up. We got Rodney Harrison going into the Hall of Fame. We're wearing the throwback Navy uniforms. I need to see people playing like Rodney would play. I need to see people playing like the late great Junior Seau would play. Our guys need to be guys. Derwin, I'm looking at you. Dayon Henley, I'm looking at you. I don't care if they're trying to game plan away from you guys. Go do something, make something happen. I mean, that's what the big guys do. They not
Hmm.
there's plenty of star players where you see them no matter what the plays are or whatever the game plan the other team is doing. So they need to be those guys if they say that they're that guy. One guy that I know I can count on is Clear Mack. Because of what I heard from him Monday, gives me some hope that this defense might show me some life and some fight. Couple things he said. One of the quotes is at times like this takes more than just talk, a little more action. And that's
Hmm.
the guy that means it if he's saying something like that to the media. But the real one that got me juiced up, even just reading this on a Monday, was he only played 12 snaps last week. And so they
Yep.
asked him, "Are you going to be on a pitch count again? What's it going to be?" And he's like, "I know what I'm planning on doing, so hopefully everyone agrees." So
Yep.
that means to tell me he wants to be out there and get after somebody. So um, just looking for that defense to step up, man. What about yourself? What are you looking for tomorrow night?
Yeah, no, man, great call outs with everything that you just mentioned on defense. I mean, we're a team that, look at what we did last year, having number one scoring defense in the NFL last year. You're looking at what we're doing right now. I mean, start the year off, we were pretty good. But these last 3 weeks have been pretty bad, giving up 38 to the Colts, which just, like you said, they're a really good offense. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. They
Yeah,
run the ball extremely well. They have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And Daniel Jones is dealing right now. Like he looks really good. So giving up 38 to them, 27 to the Dolphins, 27 to the Commanders, it's just not a good showing, especially when your offense is struggling and your offensive line is what it is. It's very hard for us to put points on the board. Right now, we're currently sitting at 20th, and this is average. So obviously, we're sitting at 20th in points per game on offense, about 21.6 points a game. But defensively, we're 18th, but we're giving up 23.3 points a game. So when you just look at just the sheer average of numbers, I mean, we're giving up more than we're scoring. I mean, of course you're
yeah,
going to lose games, but look at our record. We're 4-3. So I give you those numbers with the sense of this hasn't been a season-long thing. It's just been the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we started out 3-0, then we went obviously lost to the Giants, but to start this season off, we've looked really well. Things have kind of gotten out of hand these last couple of weeks, and we need to right the ship.
yeah,
We got players coming back that are getting healthy. Like I said, Khalil Mack, 12 snaps last week. You heard what he said. Like I know what I'm trying to do. We'll see if
yeah,
the coach staff is going to be in agreement. So I'm hoping that he's out there a lot more because I do think that when you look at the structure of our defense, you look at the two most notable players. It's Khalil Mack, Derwin James,
yeah,
but there's a lot more veteran presence, a lot more not leadership, but like I don't know. There's just Derwin's a dog. Don't get me wrong. I love Derwin, my favorite safety of all time, and that's saying something because I love Ed Reed as well. But like I don't know. Khalil Mack is just a little different, man. He's not because you don't see him like a lot like real vocal and really going out there. So when he's saying stuff like this, that's the thing that gets me like, oh, he means business. Like you always hear Derwin, and Derwin is the big vocal leader, and he's always rallying the guys. You don't hear Khalil Mack. So when he's saying stuff like this,
yeah.
it's like, oh, nah, be on the lookout. So that's what really got me excited. But no, like I said, I mean, just not looking good. Offensively, the last couple of weeks, defensively, the last couple of weeks, we're -3 in a turnover margin with 10 giveaways and 7 takeaways over the first 7 games of the season. So you're not going to win games like that. And so it's like I said, I got to keep coming back to it. It's been really a tale of like two halves with the 7 games that we played, the first couple of games versus the last 4 games. It's just complete 180.
Yeah.
You can attribute some of it to injury, but at the end of the day, next man up. But I always say, yeah, I get the next man up mantra, but I kind of don't want to hear that when we got 6 and 7 string tackles playing that we know we sign off the street. Like there's only so much next man up really like matters in that situation. So
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see. I'm really hoping that we get back to doing what we can do. Talk about injuries. It looks like Trey Pipkins, Joe Alt were limited all week. So really thinking that they'll play this week. They didn't play last week, which they probably could have, but we spoke about short week. Do we want to roll them out early and potentially have a setback, and now you don't have them for another week? Or just hey, playing a really good Colts team, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna do what we got to do and then short week on that Thursday night football, let's get our guys back. Let's get our protections right. Because if I'm being honest, the Vikings defense is a lot better than the Colts defense. The Colts defense they played really well defensive line wise, but the Vikings have a good defense all around. So if
Yep,
I'm looking at that, I'm like, hey, I want my two top guys back for the Vikings game as opposed to the Colts game.
for sure.
So I look at those things and I'm like, man, the pieces could fall into place, and I think that we could have a really good game. I think that the game plan's got to be right, though. Like you said, we still got the guys are still banged up, so you got to make sure the protections are right. But getting Alt and Pipkins back could be a huge boost. So that's what I'm looking forward to, just getting the guys back into the lineup, getting Khalil Mack out there more full time, not 12 snaps, and just getting back to those first 3 weeks, man. Seeing what we did those first 3 weeks as opposed to these last four. I need to see more of that the first 3 weeks. That's what I need
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Get back to that division leading San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers football. And You mentioned that defense we're going to be facing this week, led by Brian Flores, and I think that's where it all starts, right? They're aggressive, they get after you, they blitz, which could lead to why we waited to keep Alt and hopefully Pipkins out there for this week,
Yeah.
because they can better handle those blitzes and know where to look for and be better equipped to help than a Bobby Hart and an Austin Deculus. So really hoping those two can be out there for that. Did want to touch on my key matchup this week. I'm sticking with that Vikings defense, but I'm focused on their secondary. And my key matchup is our Chargers, like you like to call them, their Charger weapons, against that Vikings secondary. Um, you know, we've seen what we're going to do this year. We're going to air it out early and often. That's going to be what we're going to do. We're going to trust 10 to throw the ball and, keep us in games or get us a lead. Especially when you look at our running back situation with just being Vidal and no Haskins this week. So the Vidal and Naheem Hines is all we're running out there with. So we're probably not going to lean too heavily on the run game. So
Yep.
it's on Justin to make plays again. But we did have the emergence of your boy OG out there last week. Huge game, 7 catches, 164 yards, and a touchdown.
Hmm.
So adding him to that list of weapons we already got, Keenan, QJ, Ladd, could be something special in the air brewing for the Chargers going down the stretch, especially as we get that line healthy and give Herbert more time to get through reads and progressions and find who's really open, even deeper down the field now. The Vikings secondary is coming off a game. They let Jalen Hurts throw for 326, 19 to 21, perfect passer rating. So, I'm sure that they had a game plan of taking away the run against the Eagles, so it's probably going to be a different game plan against the Chargers.
Hmm.
But it just shows you're vulnerable through the air because, Flores is still going to be Flores. He's still going to blitz. He blitz Hurts a lot. So he's going to blitz Herbert a lot. And let's see if he can make him pay like he did last time they matched up with Minnesota a couple years back when
Yeah.
Herbert had his then career high, which he eclipsed last week. So I'm looking to see if we could take advantage of, an aggressive defense and a secondary that I don't think is all that special. Hit these weapons who I think are going to be a tough mismatch for anybody when you throw OG into that equation.
Yeah, no, no, I love it, man. Like you said, we do have a team that's they're gonna lean on 10 and we're gonna throw it early and often, like you said. So talking about the secondary and talking about Flores and his aggressiveness with the pass rush, like and the blitzing, like it's we had a and Herbert even said it, last year we had a really good protection plan schemed up for them. It's gonna have to be the same thing. It's gonna have
Yep.
to be the same thing. You don't have the two stalwart tackles, playing in this game. Well, actually, all wasn't there at that time, but um, you just look at the way our offensive line looks, and honestly, I don't want to talk about him too much, but I've been kind of disappointed with Becton. He just doesn't look good, and I know he's battling injury and stuff in and out the lineup, but man, like maybe it really was that Eagles that line around him that made him look a lot better than he was. I mean, but I say that with knowing the first couple of weeks he was really good.
Yeah.
So maybe it's an injury thing. So I'm not down on any of the guys and thinking that they can't play. It's just a little bit of disappointment, just a little bit of like, okay, like can we get it back? Can we get back going? I just want 10 to be protected. I'm tired of seeing him getting hit. I'm tired of seeing all of the posts, 62 hits this year. The next leading one is 44 with Cam Ward. Like, why is Herbert being hit the most? I mean, obviously we know our O line is terrible, but like can we do something about it? So that's just how I feel about it. But no, great takeaways with what you just mentioned with the defense and your key matchup. I don't have a key matchup. I just really just want to see us get back to doing what we need to do. We need to play more sound football. We got to stop with the penalties, but we were a little bit better last week penalty wise.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't good enough. And like I said, that Colts offense, they don't have a lot of weaknesses. So I'm sure it was a tough game plan for them. And having Mac only play 12 snaps with one, what they got to be leading the league in rushing. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is on just
He is the
a
league leader.
tear. So it's like you look at that, and it's like, man, you haven't been good against the run the last couple of weeks anyway. So now you bring them into town. What do you think was going to happen? So we just need to have a better showing for sure. But let's jump over to something fun, man. We're gonna get back into the betting portion. We're gonna make sure that we can talk about this a little bit because, like I said, man, we've been antsy. We didn't even talk about it too much last week. I don't think I placed any bets last week because obviously we were in the hospital. But
Yeah.
um, let's talk about it, man. Bolt the door lock of the week. Um, I'm gonna let you lead off with what you got, man. What you got? What's your bolt the door lock of the week coming up?
All right, so after we took a early bye week on a non-charger bye week, I'm looking to bounce back with a lock that's gonna hit, and usually we keep it to props. I'm going my lock of the week, Chargers money line. We're not losing with the supercharger uniforms and the Navy. There's no way I'm seeing that happen. So I'm going Chargers money line as my lock right now. That's at minus 175 that I saw on DraftKings. We're a 3-point favorite.
Mhm.
So I'm taking that. You want to take it straight, that's on you. Add some of these to the rest of the parlay, but Chargers money line, simple as that. We're not losing this game at home, short week. Got some other reasons I'll throw in there here later when we talk about our game prediction. But that's my lock, Chargers money line.
Love it, love it. No, like I said, I think at home we got to seal the deal. We have not shown that we're good at home just yet. I mean, obviously beat the Broncos at home for the home opener.
I need to keep my
Um,
towel.
yeah, just still amazing that you were in attendance for that. Yeah, man, we just not shown that we've been good at home outside of that game. So we need to seal the deal. So I love that. Chargers money line. It's actually a pretty good line. What was it, minus 172? What you said? That's actually pretty good. I think we're favored by 3.5 points. So it's actually a really good number right there. My bolt the door lock of the week. I'm going with my boy Ladidi McConkey over 5.5 receptions.
Love that.
That is plus 118 on FanDuel. Um, Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen the connection kind of get reestablished with him and Herbert. It was kind of on and off early on in the year. Kind of a little bit of miscues, maybe, just not on the same page. You've seen QJ getting tons of work. Keenan, he's back. Herbert, Keenan, they got that amazing connection. But over the last couple of weeks, you've seen Lad really start to be more of the go-to, more of the guy who Keenan, Herbert is looking for. He had 15 targets last week. I know he threw it 55 times. But 15 targets is still a ton, even if you throw it 55 times, because Herbert's not a guy who just throws to one guy. He's slinging it all around, So it's like, okay, you see 15 targets here, another guy with 10, another guy with 9, another guy with 8, another guy with 6. He's slinging it all over. But to have 15, that's a lot of targets, no matter how many passes are being thrown. So I look at that number right there, and I look at another game script where I feel like we're gonna have to throw the ball a lot. Um, I look at what they did, like you said, to the Eagles last week and how they were able to just take away that run. Our run is nowhere near as potent as theirs, especially with our O line and just our running back room. Yeah, that might not be the game plan, but I do think it's going to be hard to find running room against that defensive front. They have a really good defensive front. They brought in a lot of veterans this last year, Javon Hargrave,
Uh,
Jonathan Allen. Like they brought in a lot of big names on that D line, and they're playing pretty well.
yeah,
And you talked about it. They are vulnerable through the air, so I think that's going to be a game where we're going to have to lean on 10, and 10 can do it. We've seen it. And I've been debating with so many of my guys where, is 10 really elite? Is 10 really good? I'm like, well, I can show you all the clips that,
of course
you,
he
you
is.
hike the ball in point 0.2 seconds. You got two defenders in his lap and he's stiff arming one of them and he's shrugging off a tackle and he's still making a pinpoint throw. It's
Yeah,
like, those are elite things. There's not a lot of quarterbacks, probably not, I could probably name maybe one, maybe two that could do those kind of things because of the strength you need to have to shrug a guy off
yeah,
at those sizes.
yeah,
So I look at that and I'm like, man, 10 can absolutely shoulder the load. And I see it this week. Like he's gonna throw a lot, and I think he's gonna be looking for Lad early, and I think he's gonna be looking for him all game, honestly.
yeah.
So that's my Baltimore lock of the week. Um, let's jump over to our favorite over under. I like what you did with the money line. So I'm interested to see kind of where you went with some of these other ones because you always kind of give a little bit different. Maybe like okay, over on interceptions. It's always you get those in there. It's like man, I wasn't thinking about that, but it's a great play. So interested to see what you got. What you got?
So my favorite over under, which was really close to being that lad line, because like you mentioned, all those targets last week, following the big finish to that Dolphins game, I feel like lad's coming on like we've been asking for, right? And
Yep.
we talked about the load of weapons that we have. Lad's being able to finally not be that main focus and be able to make some plays. So and Herbert's looking for him. So I didn't go with that one though. That was probably number three on my list or four because that Keenan line right there, 5.5 too. Oof, he gets all those targets as well. So that's a
Yep. For
juicy.
sure.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, we missed last week. I'm throwing you two favorite overs. Okay, so I'm going over Carson Wentz, 0.5 interceptions. So you almost called that. So I'm taking that. That's minus 139. He's throwing us one. He's been turning the ball over. He had two picks last week, and he's got throwing it right to guys.
Yeah.
Just watched the whole breakdown of him just missing receivers left and right last week against the Eagles. So hopefully we can generate some pressure, get in his face, and force him to be the quarterback that we know he is, which is not a very good one at this point in his career.
Mhm.
But I couldn't decide between this other one, so that's why I'm giving both. I'm taking Herbert's over 254.5 passing yards, and that's at minus 113. So put me down for two this week. because I really like both. And, I had to talk about Wentz giving us the ball. We haven't got an interception last week. So usually we bounce back and get one like we did against, Miami 2 weeks ago. Got a couple. So I think a quarterback like Wentz is going to give us one on the road at SoFi for him. So at home for us. So like that. And then we're going to air the ball out like we've been talking about. So over Herbert's 254.5. Love that line.
Yeah, no, man, I'm locking in right there with you. I mean, obviously, we are losing the turnover margin. Like I said, we're -3 in that, but we are taking the ball away, especially from quarterbacks that have shown that they've struggled. So I love the over interceptions. I mean, Carson Wentz every game I think that he's played, he's had at least one interception. So I'm not worried about him, and I think that line's going to hit. Hopefully, it hits on the first play, like in the Raiders game.
Yeah.
But no, so and then I love the Herbert passing yards over because that actually goes into with what my favorite over under is. I have him over 34 and a half pass attempts. He's hit that line in the last four of the five games. I think the only one he didn't hit, and I have it up right here. I just want to pull it up real quick because I definitely just had it. Um, where was it? Yeah, he didn't hit it against Washington. He threw 29 times, but that was a game we were down. It was 27-10. So I mean, it could
And
have
we had
easily
the ball
probably
in that
thrown
game
more.
too.
Exactly. So, it could have been last five of the five. So yeah, no, so I love that. I love that line at over 34 and a half pass attempts. It's sitting at a -132. So it's pretty good odds on that one. But like I said, we talked about it. He's going to be thrown early and often. I don't think the run game is going to be where it needs to be to rely on it and actually try to establish it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're going to mix it in, but it's going to be a game where we're going to lean on 10 and we're going to take advantage of that secondary that the Eagles took advantage of last week. So.
absolutely. Hear you, bro. I like that one. 34 pass attempts. I would go right into our. If he goes 34 attempts, he's over that. He's definitely hitting over on the pass yard. So we're hand in hand right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's jump into our very last one. So favorite anytime. Who you got for a favorite anytime touchdown?
Man, I debated this one a lot too, just because the weapons and they're all sitting about right about the same. They got Lad at one
Yeah.
plus 155, QJ plus 155, Keenan plus 160. But I'm going because it seems like this tends to happen in the red zone, or he's got the chance to be a big play guy. I'm going QJ plus 155 because if you look at last week, the Vikings were susceptible to getting the top taken off of them. A couple big
Hmm.
touchdown plays, one to Devontae Smith, and
Yep.
AJ Brown as well. And QJ's that guy in our offense. As much as I believe that Lad can break those, we just don't send him on those routes enough for me to say that that's the guy that'll do that. And then, like I said, he gets lost sometimes in the red zone because everybody's looking at Keenan and everybody's looking at Lad, and now they're going to be
Hmm.
looking at OG because he's a big body, and that's who's going to sneak back behind them on a crosser number
Yep.
one wide open. So I'm going QJ. That's at plus 155. If you look at it too, because he missed one game, he's played in 6 games and he has 5 receiving touchdowns. So pretty much, he's being targeted. He's being looked at. Last week he only had a couple catches, but one of them was for a touchdown. So
Yep.
I just like his chances because of his ability to take the top off, and he's the guy that we will take those shots with.
No, I love that. I'm staying with a receiver as well in mind. And it's not QJ. It's actually Lad. So I'm going back to my bolted door lock of the week. I got Lad, and I just think it's some of the things that we talked about. He's kind of reestablishing that connection with Herbert. He's really being looked to, especially in those key situations. In two of the last three games, he does have a receiving touchdown. So I think those touchdowns are coming. The first four games of the year, no touchdowns. The connection wasn't really there. He was dropping some passes. He was missing some. They just weren't on the same page. But these last couple of weeks, I've really seen him come on. Like
Yeah.
I say, he scored two of his last three. I do think that this is a game, and you spoke about how QJ is definitely our deep threat, and that's 100%. But every game that I've watched, Lad has had those similar type routes where he's going deep. It's just maybe he's the second or third read, and Herbert really likes what he sees on the first read, so he's not going through his progressions and getting to Lad. But
Yeah.
even last week, he had that deep, kind of like a deep seam shot,
Yeah.
which pass interference. Thank you. Yep, pass interference. Zaire Franklin. I love Zaire Franklin. I think he's a really good player, and for him to be able to kind of stick with Lad in that, like I mean, he was pretty close with him. I mean, obviously close enough to hold his arm down. But no, I mean, I think Lad really gets in the end zone this week. Like I said, I think the connection just been really, really growing over the last couple of weeks. He's becoming that same go-to that he was last year, and this is right around that time where he really started clicking last year.
Yep.
So that's another thing where it's like, okay. maybe it was just that kind of slow start again. Maybe it's just that, there's more, a lot more going on offensively. Hey, let's see where everybody else kind of fits into this puzzle. Get everybody else going. All right, lad, it's time now. It's like let's do it. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen that. So I got lad, man. It's plus 155. Like I said, you went through all of them, and all those guys were literally within the same, maybe 10 points or so.
Yeah.
So no, I love all those.
I am tempted to say or want to say that before I saw that Aaron Jones was probably going to be making his return, I was really leaning close to saying Jordan Mason. I know this is a Chargers podcast, but I'm also a
Yeah,
realist and we're terrible on the support.
yeah,
And also, if we would have had a pod last week, I would have told you Jonathan Taylor was my favorite anytime. So
yeah,
but before
I
they
get
just
it.
say, "Oh man, these guys are only going to talk about Chargers, even no matter who the matchup is." No, if you would have heard me last week, I would have told you JT, and I might have even felt froggy and told you 2+, and he got three against us. So, um,
Yeah.
you know, this is a Chargers pod. I am a Chargers fan, but I'm also a realist, and I know what I see on the ground. I'm just a little hesitant to say Jordan Mason, because I do like what I see with us through the air as well.
Absolutely. No, so great plays. Make sure y'all lock some of those in. Like you said, like Dylan mentioned earlier, everything doesn't have to be a parlay. You can straight some of these. You don't have to put all of them in a parlay and then, hit five or six and parlay doesn't hit. You can straight some of these. And some of these have some great odds. The anytime touchdowns are all plus money. Our majority of both the door locks. Well, my both of their locks plus money. The Chargers money line is minus 172, which is still really good odds. All the over unders are right around minus 130-ish. It's they're all really good numbers. So get some of those in, lock them in. If you got some different suggestions, put them down in the comments. Let us know what you think,
Yep.
because we're definitely interested too. We don't think we know it all. We think we have pretty good insight, and we're trying to give you guys the best content possible, but we're always open to see what everyone else is thinking and kind of what the general consensus is when it comes to these games.
Yep, and stay tuned to the Instagram page coming up later on in this season. We're gonna open it up to you guys and see what your favorite play is, and you might get shared up on the pod coming up soon. So stay tuned to the Instagram. Drop something on there to a game week. We have a short week this week, so we're not bringing that out. But stay tuned. Tell us your favorite play, and you might get a shout out here on the pod.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like I said, trying to get you guys more involved as the season goes on. Because, like I said, we want to hear from you guys and we want to make this as fun as possible so that you guys are continuing to tune in. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. So, let's get ready to wrap this up. Last segment here. Let's game prediction. So, like I said, Thursday night football, primetime slate, 7:15 at the house. SoFi Stadium. We're favored, 3.5, minus 3.5. What are you looking at with this game? Give me a game prediction. Kind of tell me how you see this game shaking out.
Yeah, so we got us at three on DraftKings, 3.5, wherever you're getting those lines. So right at
Yep.
the three mark, right? Over under of 44 for the game total. Um, you already know where I'm going because of my lock of the week with that Chargers money line. So I am taking the Chargers to bounce back, right the ship at home. I really always do tend to like home teams on those short weeks. Historically, it does trend towards those home teams, especially if you have been home the week before, like we were. So we didn't have to have any type of travel over the weekend.
Yep.
Vikings coming off a tough game against the Eagles with that's a loss. It's a physical game. You see some of the guys that they have out, possibly missing both tackles, key piece on defense like Van Ginkel, and then even Wentz got banged up. He missed the first day of practice this week, which was Monday, which wouldn't have been a real practice, but listed him and he couldn't even do the walkthrough. Anyways, I think it all points to the Chargers taking care of business at home. It's the supercharger game. We're wearing our navies. We're wearing those navy blue throwbacks, and I just can't wait to see those on the field and the field with the that color and logo and
Hmm.
design. All that going into it. A guy like Rodney Harrison could being back in the building. Going into the Chargers Hall of Fame. My prediction is 27-17. So it's just under that over under at that 44 and a half. I just think our defense finally figures it out a little bit as far as not letting them just go right down the field and score all the time. This is a gut check week for the defense. If it's not now, then I don't know when it's going to be. So I think we're going to kind of get back to that, number one in the league points against type defense, scoring defense. And I think we score. We have a good offense. So 27-17 Chargers.
No, I love it. And I'm super, super close on my prediction as well. I'm 27-20. Got us taking that game. Obviously, I got us winning. Like I said, a lot of key points that you talked about, home on a short week. I do think we're getting back a lot of key players. Hopefully, there's some guys are still questionable, so we don't know if Joel's going to play. We don't know if Trey Pipkins going to play, but it's leaning that way that it looks like they are going to be back. So, and then you got Khalil Mack, who's going to be playing much more snaps than he did last week. I see it as something where we talked about it earlier. Defense is going to come out firing, and I think that although I think we're going to play a lot better defensively. Giving up 20 points is still a really good number. I mean, we're averaging right now 23.3, but that's because we gave up 38, 27, 29. So we've been giving up a lot of points.
Yeah.
But to hold a team to 20 points with our offense and the way that I know we can move the football, we can score the football, we do need to be better in the red zone because we're still struggling in the red zone.
Yes,
That's a
yes.
big thing because we're moving the ball. It's not that we're three and out, three and out, three and out, three and out. No, we're moving the ball. We're getting down in enemy territory and scoring range, but it's a red zone interception. It's a 20-yard catch, fumble. It's all those things that just need to get cleaned up. We have to capitalize once we get in that scoring range.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a Herbert and being more aggressive this year, which I love the aggression. Like, yeah, sling it. Like, I think you're the best quarterback in the league. Do what you got to do. But sometimes it's like, hey, you do have Cameron Dicker. Like, if you don't, I know we want to get the first down. I know we want to score, but hey, 3 points is better than zero. Depending on, circumstances of the game. Maybe you need seven, so I get it. But I just don't see them being able to stick into it. They got a lot of injuries. They got Carson Wentz, who's not been playing well. Obviously, they got probably the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a challenge. I mean, no matter who he plays, he's always going to be a problem. So you got to have that under wraps. But I think it's a very winnable game at home for us, with a team that we better be hungry. I just don't see how we're not hungry. Squeaking out a win versus the Dolphins is nothing to be happy or excited about. Yeah, it's a win. You definitely didn't want to lose that game, but it's nothing to be happy about. And in dropping all the other games that we did, we got to be ready to come out firing. Like we just, it's a must-win game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so too. Must win game because you can't go 4-4 with the way that the rest of our division is looking with the Giants miraculous or Denver's miraculous comeback against the Giants,
Mhm.
blowing that one to go a game ahead in division, and then the Chiefs being tied with us, but we have the tiebreaker obviously right now. I'm glad you did call out that red zone offense because we're last in the league right now. And that's not acceptable with the quarterback we have, the players we have. I know our line situation is tough, but whatever the case may be, whether we get a penalty on first down right when we get inside the 20. It's always something in the red zone, and it needs to
Yep.
stop. We need to score. We need to get seven, or worst case scenario, get three. But it honestly needs to be seven. We can't. We keep settling. That's how you lose games, and that's another. If the defense wasn't so bad the last 4 weeks, that would have been the first thing I would have talked about because the Chargers offense being last in the league in red zone. And if you see the teams around us are bad teams, so that's just something that I don't think can continue if we expect to be a good team ourselves. But man, I'm finishing on a high note because I just can't, I see this blue that even I'm wearing. So I don't know about you, but I'm so excited to see that tomorrow.
Mhm.
We had the new Charger Power uniforms we didn't get to talk about last week. But those are nothing in comparison to what I've been waiting to see these on the field again. Takes me all the way back to the Qualcomm days growing up, seeing those, going down to the games there. And, I just can't wait.
No, absolutely, man. Like, I mean, you hear our theme song, man. Once it comes on, man. San Diego Superchargers, man. So, like, no, we're super excited to see that because those jerseys are sick, man. That navy with the white. I mean, yeah, those some beautiful colorways, man. So, no, man, like I said, super excited to see this game tomorrow, and I'm honestly I'm happy I'll be playing Thursday because I need to get that bad taste out of my mouth from Sunday. It's just I'm glad it's so much sooner than Sunday or playing Monday night. So let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get this win and let's just get it on because I don't have time to. Man, that was a bad loss. No, let's get that. Let's wash it out. Let's wash it. I don't want to think about it anymore. We're turning the page, so let's do it.
For sure. So Thursday night football, you know where to find us. Post game show coming to you guys afterwards. So you'll see that, Friday probably before the weekend's up. Check in with our socials. We're gonna get back active on those. Like I said, stay tuned on the Instagram. We're gonna put something up for you guys to interact with us and maybe be featured here on the pod with that play. And you could add it to your Bolt Standard bet and plays. I'm gonna get back active on with the TikToks as well. Get those out there for you guys so that you can enjoy some of our clips. And then I got some other things cooked up on there as well to get going for us. So I'm super excited, like we mentioned, for the Supercharger uniform debut. Finally got rid of those other navies and went with the real Navy uniforms we've been needing to see. So that's all I got for you guys, other than bolt up.